A lot has been said on the World Wide Web about bad video game movie adaptations. But that's not what this video is about. I mean, sure, we could sit here and we could giggle away at these monstrosities of video game history, but at what cost? Who pays the final price of actually having to watch these films? Oh wait, yeah, me. I was looking through my video game library recently. I can't even say that without laughing. It's not a library, it's a single shelf of overpriced games, but that doesn't matter. But I noticed something. I noticed that so many of the games that I have are actually video games based off of movies. And it got me to thinking, hey, that's a video idea that nobody's ever done before on YouTube. So I got my stuff, I wrote a script, I put my thing down, flipped it, reversed it, and here we have movie tie-in video games. I'm talking about games like The Warriors, based off of The Warrior, or games like Spider-Man, based off of Spider-Man, or King Kong, based off of, you guessed it, that horrible, horrible Peter Jackson movie with the giant man-eating worm grub thing. Gross. But over the years, there have been so many movie tie-in video games, many of which totally exceeded what was expected from them and turned into brilliant pieces of entertainment in their own right. And to kick things off, I'm starting with one that most of us know and love, GoldenEye. If you're a 90s babe like me, then chances are you first played this game when it came out on the Nintendo 64 in 1997. Now, I was only 3 years old at the time and could barely tell my ass from my elbow, but my brother was 15 and he loved it. He loved it so much, in fact, that he actually skipped his high school prom in favour of shooting up Russia and vibing out to this. Do I judge him for it? A little bit. Do I hold it against him? Absolutely not. Listen, you can say a lot of things about my family, okay? But when it comes to playing games, we don't play games. And when I was old enough to finally be able to move both of my thumbs in a circular motion, I just naturally gravitated towards this mammoth computer thing that was the N64. And I think the first game I ever played was Super Mario 64, but it was GoldenEye that spoke to me in a more pure way, an almost animalistic way. You see, I've always really deeply liked music, even from a really young age. And I mean, I grew up with images of Pierce Brosnan and Sean Connery on the TV because my dad was such a big James Bond fan. And Sean Bean, he loved Sharp. Bastard. My dad loved Sean Bourne. So it makes sense looking back at it now that I would have so much fun playing this game because it was just so simple. Hey, you. Psst. Yeah, you. Want a license to kill and have zero respect for any woman you come across? Then pick up that controller, dude, let's bond! And yes, whilst it's true that GoldenEye isn't the first James Bond video game that was ever released, I do think it was the first Bond game that truly put you in the shoes of this misogynistic piece of shit and just let you do exactly as he does in the movies, which is just fucking shoot first, ask later. See ya. You have zero consequences in the game, just like in the movies. So, you know, what more do you want? It's great. And the soundtrack, come on, don't make me do it again. Don't make me do it again. I actually still have my brother's original copy of GoldenEye, and it still smells like regret and Red Bull. Good times. But when it comes to regret, I regret nothing about playing these games as a kid. I could do an entire video talking about just the Spider-Man games. You've got Spider-Man, the 1991 arcade game. You've got Spider-Man released in 2000 on PlayStation. Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro. I mean, where do I begin? But we're talking about movie tie-ins, which is just as well because these games fucking slap. Spider-Man released in 2002 on the Xbox, PlayStation 2 and the GameCube, and it was the biggest jump in graphics we'd seen since PlayStation's Spider-Man. I mean, sure, it had a pretty lackluster web-swinging system, I can take that, so naturalistic game mechanics weren't really its thing. But remember, this is a story about a guy who can literally shoot spiderwebs out of his dick. But the game still had a really fun combat system, and it put you up against lots of great characters like Vulture, Shocker, and hey, there's MJ, and she just called me Tiger. But what the game did lack in mechanical grace, it made up for with its amazing voice acting. I'm talking, of course, about Bruce Campbell.
I'm sure you miss me more than I miss you.
Other cast members also reprised their role from the 2002 film as well, including the main man, the webhead himself, Tobey Maguire, and it is, honestly, it's quite annoying. And that's really hard for me to say because Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man, but I get it. I'm only human. I understand. I hear the concerns. I hear your criticisms, but I'm not listening. Because Spider-Man is one of my favourite characters of all time, and these games were my dream games growing up. This game felt so reminiscent of Sam Raimi's movie, with the story beats and the music. But where this game truly excelled from being just another movie tie-in game was allowing players to play as other characters in the game. Characters like the Green Goblin. Wait, so you actually get to play as the film's main villain and root for him and shoot laser things from his Spidey glidey thing? And the weird thing is it actually works. It doesn't just feel like a gimmick or an afterthought. You actually end up getting invested in these characters, even rooting for him. And this is something the filmmakers could have never done because you can't root for the good guy and the bad guy in the film, right? I think Insomniac Games could learn a thing or two by making Venom a playable character in 2023's Spider-Man 2. But what do I know? I like Tobey Maguire. Ultimately, I think Treyarch knew, for all their recent downfalls and faults, how to give the player the best experience they could. And I applaud them. You know what game doesn't do that? Actually, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but it rhymes with Nightblub.
Hey, I'm looking for Tyler.
Fucking virgin.
Stop. What? This glorious piece of dialogue is what welcomes you to the shit show of the game, Fight Club, released in 2004 for the Xbox and PlayStation 2. Hey, I'm looking for Tyler. Oh yeah? Me too, but we don't have that in our budget. But enough of the chit chat because roulette first night of Fight Club, you gotta fight! My expectations of this were already pretty low going into it, but somehow they sank even lower than I ever expected they would. Unlike the film, the game's plot is paper thin and serves only as brief moments of peace to interlude the main fighting parts of the game. Now, this wouldn't be an issue if the combat in this game was fun. It isn't. Fight Club features no tutorial. It just calls us a virgin and throws us into the deep end of button mashing and frustration. And honestly, it's not that I need the game to hold my hand, but you know, some basic pointers might be nice. You know, like throw the odd screen prompt at me here and there. Like, tickle Leroy's ears and this fight's yours, bub. Again, this wouldn't be an issue if we actually come to learn anything about the characters. We don't. And the cutscenes, if you can call still images cutscenes, are there to just fill the void between the mindless violence. But I guess, unlike Spider-Man, the voice acting's pretty good. Rule 1, don't talk about Fight Club. Hey, haven't you seen the movie? Jesus Christ, virgin boy. Fight Club ultimately fails at what great games like The Warriors actually accomplish, which is taking an already established world or universe and adding to it, or complementing it in some way, or just giving the fans what they want. The best parts of the Fight Club film aren't the fighting scenes, it's the tension, it's the social commentary, it's Meatloaf's Jigglypuffs, may he rest in peace. I think The Warriors is maybe the best reflection of its source material than any of the games I've talked about, because The Warriors has it all. Want to execute a perfectly planned heist on a pawn shop? Sure. Want to roll 6-7 deep with the boys and spread social harmony across the neighborhood? Done. Want to beat up and mug a homeless drug addict? I mean, no, but this is Rockstar Games we're talking about, and they haven't done me wrong so far. Sure. And only Rockstar Games could have taken The Warriors to the depths of depravity that it so rightly deserves. The Warriors isn't a social commentary. It's not even an intelligent story, but it knows what it is, and Rockstar Games didn't tarnish it with a brush of mediocrity. If anything, it gave it a fresh lick of paint. Like I said at the start of this